Sex Education, season 4. The end of the show, the end of the series. I have to say, off the bat, right?
Bad.
I'm going to give my opinions first before you start fucking screaming at me again. I'm going to say I agree with a lot of
I'm not screaming at you. I'm very passionate about my thoughts.
You're targeting me, personally.
Targeting the green screen
with
behind
a bomb.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to agree with a lot of the Instagram comments. Too many new characters. Ending, they kind of dropped the ball because it doesn't feel like a lot of the previous. But I got to tell you, based on what they did within the season, Timmy was right next to me. That final scene of Otis reading that note, because I've been watching this show since it came out, whatever. I have like some kind of attachment.
Yeah.
As he's reading the note, fucking hit. Fucking hurt.
Oh, no.
In a vacuum, outside of all these new characters that I found incredibly annoying, fuck. The whole time I'm sitting there, they're making sure to jump to each one. They're like, oh, do you care about this new character, how they're going to end up? I'm like, end with Otis. If you don't end the scene with Otis being sad about Maeve leaving, then you drop the ball. You drop the ball harder than you did already. But if you can just end with Otis hurting my heart a little bit, fine. Even if Maeve just showed up, she was like, actually, I'm going to throw my life away. I'd be like, that's a bad ending, but like, Otis, okay. He's supposed to be the heart and center. Him reading that note, I was like, dickhead. My heart hurts.
Two biggest things for me, at least for this season, were...
Can you say Adam?
Adam? What?
No, like
I love Adam.
I hate that he's so fucking disconnected from the story. Why is he not in there? Why are they just like...
Because he had his story, season 2.
Fuck that.
He's still in there because people like him.
Yes.
But he does not fit in there. He does not belong in the school. He does not do whatever. My two main problems with the show were that it was sex education, where it was people who, no matter what their sexuality was of any kind, their problems were sex-based. And then as the show went on, it didn't become sex-based, it became sexuality-based, and their sex problems were no longer the issue. And you can be whatever sexuality or gender or whatever you want, but the show's influence and main topic was their sexual problems. And especially in the last season of the show, there was barely any sex or anything like that. And it was just people being like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want from this. And I'm like, as much as you want to talk about that, that's not what this was.
Yes. So out of the one between the two of us with a sociology degree, I can tell you really quick.
Go for it.
That sexuality is basically what they're into. It's not, has nothing to do with their sexual identity.
Yes.
With that correction, 100% you're right. Had nothing to fucking do with sex or sex education or anything to do with it. They went, hey, how are we going to make this about sex ed? Otis wants to be a therapist. How's he going to do that? He wants to fuck someone over.
Yeah.
That's compelling.
Cool. I could totally see that happening in the first season when he was immature and stupid.
Yes. How much fucking character growth do you have to go through in 3 seasons to then just regress and be like, new school? I want to fuck stuff up.
I want to be in charge and show my flaccid penis.
That's a funny scene. Homie doesn't know how AirPlay works.
Bluetooth connected. What? No.
You know what I hate even worse? Because this is the type of show that would do it?
Yeah.
They showed a penis on the screen.
Like 7 times in a row.
Different angles, different photos. Hated it.
One thing I will give this season that I 100% did not expect is the dude who's in the wheelchair, whose name I currently forget, thought he was going to be a one-off and disappear, and the fact that they turned him into a legitimate character for this season.
Hated it.
I actually enjoyed that part.
I hated how... He clearly, people liked him, so they were like, oh, we have to find a way to bring him back. So they just found a way for him to like someone else and get into a different romantic relationship, even though it had nothing to do with what really felt like the overarching story. My problem with the show on the whole is that at a certain point, it feels too disconnected. Amy is going one way, Adam's going another way.
Amy's the girl who had like got assaulted.
Teeth,
yes.
Timmy and I love her. She's very compelling. She's cute. She's funny. Most of the time, her story has nothing to do with anybody.
My problem with her is I wanted to see her get her sexuality back. And at the end of this, she's like, I accepted that this happened to me, but I didn't see her move past it. She was just kind of like,
she started to.
Yes, but that's why I watched the show. I didn't watch this to see you start to finish your journey. Finish the journey.
I thought her story in the entire season was funny to me because it was like, I'm going to be a dildo tester, and then I'm going to like a guy, and I'm going to learn to take photos.
I like
simple, straight to the point.
Only thing I don't like is that they were like, especially in this season, they're like, Adam, he's like, I'm bi. And I'm like, you couldn't get hard in the first season because you weren't fucking a dude.
Yes.
You're not bi.
100%.
You're gay.
It's my problem isn't even that his sexuality changes, because sexuality can be fluid.
Yeah.
My problem is that he
didn't reach that point.
Sure.
They just changed it like a switch.
Exactly. They make sure to just hammer home to you. They're like, oh, you know, look, it's first 3 seasons. It's like, oh, look, he's gay. Here's all the reasons that he's gay. Final season. this girl, she was really good in the interviews, so we're gonna put her in the show. Now he's bi.
Yeah.
That's not character growth. That's you just writing something to fucking solve a contract.
The only other major problem I have with this is not actually, I mean, I guess it is story, but Maeve and Otis don't belong together.
No.
At all.
No.
They are a problem for each other.
Entirely.
And the entire show tries to justify them being together, when in reality, I think Otis should have ended up with Ruby, because being with her would have made her a better person and less of a bitch. And it would have grounded him a bit better and less be obsessive about a girl he can't have. And I think that would have been better as a couple, as a whole. 100%. And the way that they started like doing some things in season 4.
They literally took the season, and at a certain point they were like, fork in the road separation. Fork in the road separation. But what I do appreciate is in the last episode, they didn't go, Otis is sad now. Ruby's sad now. They're a couple. Look, they ended up together. They were like, Otis, I'm going to try. We could be friends. And she was like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I was like, there you go. Box is checked. That's perfect. Jackson is another character. Who? Does it? Jackson? He's got a lump on his balls.
Him, yeah.
Does another character that doesn't make sense why he's in it.
No,
I liked Vivian.
That weird lump in his balls fear was a very, like,
it was always one of those things where you're like, oh man, they're all scared about sex and like the relationships. And then Jackson's like, my balls are growing. And then he's like, I'm going to go meet my dad. You were like,
no, I don't want you. Never wanted you. I don't like that the mom, who's the blonde one for him,
from Ted Lasso,
was in Ted Lasso, and very much had smaller roles as the season went on,
because she
would have had been able to get paid more when she was very much a big part of the show in season 1
100%.
and 2 and everything. And it just there was all, but the one thing I did appreciate, which was the opposite side of that, is the music teacher and the like English teacher.
I love that they showed up
in the funeral,
and he fucking sang "You Too."
Yeah,
and he belted the shit out of it.
And I love that he came back for that. That was one of the few moments where I'm like, you know what? Their story was done, and I understand that. But the fact that you acknowledge that they're part of this universe,
still in this world, exactly. They still exist. You don't just go outside of things in a vacuum. Like, honestly, I understand there's a handful of actors that didn't come back this season because they're doing other projects or money or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any fucking sense to me how they're like, oh yeah, man, Maeve's mom died. Vivian, Jackson, all these. It doesn't make sense that all of these people show up.
Yeah.
Some of them it does. Otis, Amy, whatever. But why the fuck is everybody like Vivian's boyfriend? There's absolutely no, because she didn't feel any kind of emotional, like she wasn't emotionally compelled to be there. Where the fuck is she gonna go? Oh man, my boyfriend's gotta come because it makes me sad.
Yeah,
doesn't make any and him. That's another part of the story I just didn't give a shit about.
The other thing I also wanted to talk about. It felt like
they were checking boxes.
Yeah, they were like, how do you wrap up a show? But like not really.
Even that.
But not really.
It's not even how do you wrapping up a show. It's how do you show more representation for other situations simultaneously with only 8 episodes given.
That was the thing. They tried so much harder to show more representation. When you're in your final season, stop worrying about showing
the characters
focus on what you have.
There's absolutely no reason for you to go, hold on, new school, new characters, new this, new that. I get it. You have to go to a new school. Fine. Get most of the cast from before.
Yeah.
Why are you going to go, all right, we got to hire these more people? And if you lose 30% of the cast, then make it smaller.
The other thing that's kind of like bothering me in these things, which I'm seeing in a lot of movies and stuff now, is they very much want to have disabled people involved in things.
Which is fine.
And everyone chooses the fucking deaf person. Go with the blind person. That's so much harder to write. It would be so much more impressive. Everyone's going with the deaf person, and it feels like a bit of a cop-out at this point, especially where everyone's just like, oh, no, you're deaf, but you can understand what everyone's saying, and you can... No, you write a blind person, you have to solve that issue.
Yes.
You have to be like, how do they communicate with the people in this world? How do they do whatever? And, like, do that. Commit to the bit. Like, no, like, disrespect to deaf people, but, like, as far as, like, they viewed it in the show, like, it just felt like a bit of a cop-out.
Yes.
They're just like, they're disabled, but not really.
What I do appreciate is there's steps moving forward for inclusivity.
Yeah.
It's steps moving forward in terms of non-binary people and in gender fluidity, in disabled people. That dude in the wheelchair, he's the only person I've ever seen that's that guy, that is that form of disabled, that heavily, that has just like a permanent, constant role in something. I've never seen that in a show that I've watched.
Friday Night Lights.
He's not...
The arms, you got the basketball.
Yeah, but he's a regular actor. He's an able-bodied person.
You know if he's able-bodied?
Yes.
Do you know?
Yes.
Are you sure?
How else is he going to act like a football
Walter
player?
Jr., I didn't know if he was disabled or not, or if he was just an actor. Like, you're assuming
Brendan, the first episode or two is the dude running around playing football.
I'm talking about sex ed right now. How do you know that he needs the chair?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Stupid monkey brain. Monkey brain don't understand.
And like the fact that they had like a 2-3 episode arc where they're just like, man, I don't get the representation I deserve. I don't get the understanding. You guys need to fix this elevator because it's just like I'm the only one here who needs it. Is whatever was actually a cool angle where like like no one really touches on this and everything, but like they went on it so long that it felt like it stalled the show a bit.
Agreed. There's multiple points where it feels like they stalled the show.
Yeah.
Between really just like all of O, the sex therapist.
Yeah,
shit,
I'm
I feel
asexual. Okay, cool.
That felt like
after everything we've seen in this show, you being asexual is not like a mind-shattering like reveal. Like it's
not
just
even, it's the way they did it.
Yeah,
because the kind of person that she was portrayed as in the show, at that point when she does it, you're like, I don't believe you.
Yeah,
you're just fucking lying because you want to change things. Of, like whatever. It didn't make any sense. It didn't impact me in any way.
And she was like, I'm sorry I threw you under the bus. I just wanted to be cool because I was unaccepted. So is everybody. That doesn't make you not a bitch.
Listen,
like,
I'm all for moving forward and forgiving people and getting over things. But if you're going to bully someone for 5 years, fuck you.
Yeah.
They have every right to
I'm
hold a
sorry.
grudge.
I did it because I wanted to be cool.
You called me a bedwetter for 10 years.
I'm
what the
so
fuck
sorry.
do you mean
I didn't understand your point of view. I didn't know you wanted to be cool. My bad. Like, what? No.
Bedwetter?
Fuck you.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it's over, and I'm glad they didn't botch the ending entirely.
I'm not glad it's over. They did botch it didn't end. Everything
so then be those people in the Instagram comments that petition for a movie, okay? Tell Emma Mackey that she needs to stop doing acting in movies and shit and tell her to come back to do one more movie.
It doesn't need it. They just got it wrong. There's no pulling it back. There's no doing whatever. It feels like the people who made season 4 watched the show and went, we could do a season of it.
Yes.
And then they're like, we can do this, we can wrap it up and do whatever. And they're just like, oh yeah, no.
This feels like one of those shows that should have gotten left on the cutting room. I hate to say it because I love this fucking show. It feels like it's one of those shows that should have gotten left on the cutting room.
If it ended last season, I probably would have been happier with the show.
Not even if it ended, but if they ended on season 3 and then they went, oh, we have to cancel it because of COVID and Netflix, whatever.
I would have been disappointed, but it would have been better.
Because 4 feels so fucking disjointed from the look, the way that people look, the story basis, the characters that return. None of it feels like it should. None of it flows fluidly.
All the stories that don't even have a wrap up. Like Adam's dad being like, no, I'm trying to be a better person. I'm going to cook and stuff like that. And you see him once again, like, I think you said her name is Amy with the teeth.
Yeah.
He takes a step forward towards being that person, but it doesn't wrap up.
Yes.
There's just, you see him progress and then that's it. And you're like, I guess he becomes okay. Like, what's happening? And they knew it was the final season, so they should have planned. It's not like they filmed it and they're like, oh, this is the last one. Fuck. Like, no, you knew this was the final season. Wrap that shit up.
Did they?
Yeah, it was announced last year.
Oh, that's fair.